Hey guys, it's Lerilyn with House of Akoti. Welcome to the channel and thank you for tuning in today. Here's a quick demo of how I'm going to use this fabric here. It's a beautiful lilac and lace woven material. It's like an organza base. And I'm going to use this material to upcycle, I think it's upholstery fabric really, to make a blazer, a pair of shorts, and what I have here is actually the material cut from a pattern for a sleeve. So how do I make this sleeve? I'm going to first fold face to face here, and I'm just going to pin the edges together. From the top, I start at the bottom and I work my way in the middle. And I probably got about 6 of these because it's got a little length to this side here. And it's pretty simple and pretty straightforward. The hard part is just easing it in to the actual jacket itself, which will be partially lined. So one thing to keep in mind with your sleeve, you want to transfer all the notches that you have on your pattern. So I have one at the top that's going to signify where it attaches to the shoulder. And I have one that attaches to the back and one that attaches to the front of the jacket. And at the very top where I ease it in are the notches here where I'm just going to gather that part in so it'll form a nice cup or cap sleeve cap, if that makes sense. You can kind of visualize what that looks like. So let's go over to the machine. Okay, so I'm going to remove these pins as I sew because I don't want to break a needle. I'm going to follow this at my normal 5/8 of an inch seam allowance. Now sometimes with this machine it gets a little wonky with the tension depending on the throat plate that you're using. And this is the traditional throat plate that comes with the machine. It's not the one that you would use for like your thinner fabrics like silk and such, and I said I was going to get one of those. I just have not yet. So following that 1/2 inch seam allowance, I'm just going to stitch all the way down to the end, removing those little pesky pins as I go. Almost there. And back stitch at the end. Okay. So now you can actually see the shape of the sleeve. I'm going to turn this out and you can actually see now the actual sleeve. And up here is where we're going to form our sleeve cap. And look at that beautiful detail, guys. I won't even hem. I just use that edge of the fabric so that it'll be my built-in hem there. So what I want to do now is I want to change my stitch length to 6, the widest on the machine, which is a basting stitch. I'm going to pull my thread out to help with the gathering. And then if you remember those 3 notches along the top here of the sleeve, I'm going to start a little bit before that first one, and I'm going to just put in a basting stitch all along the top here. And I'm going to stop a little bit before the last one, lifting up. And I should have my scissors here, but I don't have my little snips right here in front of me, so I'm just gonna pull it. And now what I want to do is take the bobbin thread and I just want to slightly pull. Just slightly pull, and it's not much to gather at all along this sleeve cap here. And it just forms the cap of the sleeve. And you can do the same thing on the other side just to have it even. Sometimes it's difficult to see white on white. Just take your time. And if you can't find it, you're just gonna have to work a little bit harder and even it out. So here we go. We've kind of formed that sleeve cap along the top. You can kind of see. And now we'll sew it in, ease it in to the jacket. Okay, so now I've taken the actual sleeve that you can actually see here, okay, the sleeve, and it's turned to the face fabric, the outside that you wear. It's turned out, and I'm going to place right side to right side. So the right side of the sleeve is facing to the right side of the jacket. And with those notches, I want to use the pieces that I've actually eased in. I'm going to ease in. Have gathered the sleeve cap that you can see, so that notch matches. I want to find the second notch for the back of the jacket to the notch that I've marked on the sleeve, and I want to pin there. And I want to move on to the back and find the notch on the jacket with the notch on the sleeve, and I want to pin there. And then if you want to pop a couple more pins in there just to make your easing technique a little bit easier, you can do that as well, all along. Now, because this is a lace, even though it's woven, it's not like it's a denim or you're dealing with, you know, a linen or a heavier type of woven fabric. This is still pretty lightweight. And once that's all in, I like to start at the sleeve cap. Sometimes I start where it meets at the underarm, but I'm going to start at the sleeve cap. And I want to make sure that I'm within the inside of the seam allowance, right? The inside of the seam allowance, not outside, but closer to inside, because you don't want those stitches to show. So I'm going to go back to my 2.5 inch stitch length. Now with this machine, you can use what's called Creative Consultant. You can choose the type of fabric. So if I'm using a lace that's woven, it's a lightly woven, I'm gonna do a regular stitch. It basically tells me the needle that it recommends, it's a 90. And the thread, of course, is polyester, polyester 100. So I'm gonna hit OK there, and you can see my stitch length, and it's choosing, or straight stitch, it's choosing a stitch length of 3 for this. It pre-adjusts the tension and all of that for me. So I'm going to start here, right on the inside of my stitch. The original basting was about 1/4 inch. Here I'm about 1/2 inch. And I'm just going to back stitch. And I'm just going to follow this all the way around. For those of you that are new to the channel, please consider subscribing, liking the video, and sharing it across the YouTube platform to push the videos out. Really helps small channels like mine to grow. Thank you so much for the existing subscribers. I'm finally at that 500 mark, I think a little bit over. I haven't posted a lot in the last month. I've had a lot going on, but I'm back today sharing a closer to the end of summer project that I'm working on. All right, so you just want to keep that bulk out of the way, pushing it down as you go. And organza is not, you know, difficult. Again, this is a woven material. I think it was really an upholstery type fabric for like drapes, but I thought it was so pretty, and I just wanted a lace blazer. I've never had a lace blazer, and I thought it'd be cool to pair that with shorts for something to wear towards the end of summer. So I'm just gonna keep working my way around until I get to the back where I started. And if you're not sure, because this lace, it's really transparent, plus you've got white threads on both the fabric and you're using white, you can always go a little bit past, but make sure you backstitch. So here, it's gonna do the cutting for me. And at this point, I can turn everything out so that you can actually see what this sleeve cap looks like. So if this, for orientation purposes, you know, it's lined, but it's actually lined with lace. So only the back, I have like a satin on the inside for the back, but everything it's like a double lace. So here, if I turn this out this way, you can actually see that's the front here of the jacket, right? And here is my sleeve. That's the front. And And that's the side, and you could actually see the back. But look at the detail, guys, of that sleeve hem. So I think it's coming out really nice. So I have my lining here. If I push the lining through, it's like a 3/4 lining. It kind of helps that sleeve cap to find its place. But where am I going to wear this summer? I have no idea. I just think it was such a pretty fabric to try to upcycle, to do something different. What shoes am I going to wear? I have no idea. I don't know anyone that's getting married that I could wear this to. This sure would be cute. That'd be cute. Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and finish doing the same thing to the other side. That's the inside. Isn't that gorgeous? And that's the collar. If I fold that collar down so you can get orientation, you can see the back. So I think everything's coming out nice, but nicely. But basically, this video was just a quick demonstration on how I make a sleeve and how I sew it in. So once again, guys, this is Lara, Little House of Akoti. Hit that like button, share, consider subscribing, and follow me on this journey with sewing. Have a great day. Bye.